All right, so our last presentation for tonight is Adam talking about sturgeon, being interviewed by Julia. And Adam is 12 years old and enjoys mountain biking, skiing, soccer, and video games. So take it away.
All right. So Adam, we're just doing interview. From what I can tell, we're not doing presentation. But for those of the audience who don't know anything about your presentation, I was hoping you could do a very quick little interview about what or little, few words about what your project is about. Like as if I've never heard of sturgeon before, what would you want to tell me?
My project's about sturgeon. The reason I choose sturgeon because of my cousin fishes in Alberta, and he fished for sturgeon. And I thought that was really cool because they're such huge fish and have been on this earth for 200 million years. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is very crazy. Yeah, definitely. Very cool. Very cool topic. I've never actually interviewed someone who's done a project on sturgeon before, so I'm very excited. I looked over pictures of your project that are on our website, and I noticed that you talked a little bit about the different types of sturgeon in Canada. So I was wondering what the different types of sturgeon in Canada are and how can you tell them apart?
So the first sturgeon we is the white sturgeon. You can identify it because they're named after their white stomach. Then there's a green sturgeon, where it's a greeny tinge and smaller. We have lake sturgeon, what are like kind of like more gray than the white sturgeon. And then there are short-nosed sturgeon, what have shorter noses and a lot stubbier.
That's awesome. Where are sturgeon most commonly found and what kind of conditions do they need to survive in?
Well, so where white sturgeon live in the lower Fraser River, and then but most of like lots of them, almost thousands of sturgeon were killed for their meat and roe. And then we have some in a little bit on the Kootenay Lake, and then green sturgeon and short-nosed sturgeon are found by the coast.
Okay, that's awesome. I also saw this fun fact, and I want you to tell everyone how old sturgeon can get.
Sturgeon can get 85 to 90 years old. That's the Kootenay sturgeon, and weighs 350 kilograms or 770 pounds.
Wow, that is a big fish. Why have the sturgeon populations decreased?
They were mainly killed for their meat and roe from the early settlers in late 1800s and early 1900s.
Okay. Why do you believe sturgeon are an important part of Canadian history?
Sturgeon were used by the First Nations for their meat and roe, oil for medical purposes, bones for needles, spears and arrowheads, stomach linings for drum coverings, and isinglass for the from the swim bladders for making glue and paint for teepees.
Wow, that's a lot of uses for sturgeon. That's very impressive. Why do you think everyone else should know about sturgeon?
Because sturgeon have been on this earth for 200 million years, and that's longer than most dinosaurs.
A very long time. Yes, absolutely. Such cool fun facts that we don't otherwise know. I'm learning tons of new things today. When you were researching your project, what was the most valuable resource that you used?
For me, it was hard, but the sites I did use were like the Canadian Encyclopedia had some, and then and then some others like eno.ca and some other sites were really good.
And you mentioned also that you chose to do sturgeon because your cousin fishes for sturgeon. Were you
Yeah.
able to talk to your cousin about sturgeon at all?
No, not really, but I just kind of researched about that.
Okay. Good. Um, how were you able to determine whether your resources were trustworthy or not? So whether they were going to be useful?
Well, my school kind of gave away like some sites that we can try, and then otherwise I just went with sites with like www or https
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in front of them.
Yeah, it's definitely useful when your school can help you out when you're first figuring out where to start. Very good. So one part of your project is talking about how the sturgeon population has been decreasing. So what have people been doing so far to keep the sturgeon population from decreasing?
Um, lately, to help the sturgeon, we've been trying to like get rid of some of the dams and stuff, because the dams are some of their main things. We're making the making the restrictions for the catch, so that you can't keep anything. Um, in the last century, approximately 200,000 hatchling juveniles have been released since 1993.
Do you think there's anything else that we should be doing to try and help the sturgeon?
I just think that we can't keep them because of they have been overfished for so long that we need that, so we just need to keep their numbers up.
Absolutely. What sort of skills do you think you gained from doing this project?
Well, I've got a lot better with word and typing.
Yeah, that's great. Definitely going to be useful later on. You do a lot of typing. What do you think the most interesting fact you learned about sturgeon is?
What I told you before about their how what the First Nations use them for.
Yeah, that's definitely super interesting. And I didn't realize that sturgeon had so many uses for them. So that was very cool to know about. So did you know anything about sturgeon before you started your project?
No, not really. I just knew that they're really big.
Yeah, that's basically all I knew coming into this as well. So I noticed that you have some pictures on your boards. Do you want to talk to me a little bit about what your pictures are?
Can help me. Over here are the pictures that I had for sorry, this is very difficult with a laptop. For pictures of a green sturgeon. Then I have over here pictures of, you can't really see them good, but that's a picture right there of a short-nosed sturgeon. Then we have here, you can't see it, but that's a green sturgeon, lake sturgeon. And then we have a picture of a white sturgeon.
Very cool. Yeah, you talked us through the differences a little bit. So when you show us the pictures, it's really interesting to see. You can kind of tell that they are different.
Then if you can see that, I did a picture of what I drew of a white sturgeon.
Wow, that's awesome. Very cool. All right, so before we finish up, I was just wondering if there's anything that I've forgotten to ask you, or if there's anything else you want to tell me about sturgeon that maybe we didn't talk about yet.
No, I think you really covered most of it.
Perfect. You did an excellent job. Thank you so much. Thank you for teaching me about sturgeon today.
Thank you.